Thank you for watching this workshop. My name is Danielle Moore. I'm the Parent and Family Support Specialist here at the Urban League of Greater Madison, and this workshop's topic is maintaining your scholar's well-being. Okay, just to start us off, I'm going to go through some stressors and challenges that your scholar may be experiencing, specifically due to changes because of the COVID-19 pandemic. So they could be seeing a change in routine that could be causing them stress. They're not going through the normal school day, grocery stores, kind of just changes in what they normally would be doing at this time of year. There's this disruption of school and being able to participate in after-school activities. So we're virtually learning, and then maybe your scholars missing out on participating in sports, or if they go to a community center, any clubs that they might participate in there, they could be missing out on that. They could also be experiencing missing these significant life events, graduation, school dances, big sporting events, celebrating birthdays with a lot of people, so just missing out on that. They could be having a feeling of loss of security and safety. So as our numbers continue to rise here in Wisconsin, we continue to feel that kind of uneasiness of being safe within the community, and then just having that security that we'll be able to stay healthy. They could also be experiencing social isolation, so not being able to hang out with their friends as much in person, and just having that physical interaction with their peers and just engaging like they normally would. They could be feeling the stress from any financial impacts that could be impacting your family, just having that from huge rates of unemployment, cut back hours, not being able to work to have to be at home with your scholar. So they could be feeling that stress as well. And they could also be dealing with feelings of coping with any ill family and friends, and not being able to be there to support them and take care of them. So just trying to manage that as well. So as we continue to stay at home, it's important that we continue to be aware of any changes in our scholars' behaviors, just so that we can keep an eye and make sure that these aren't impacting their physical and emotional well-being. And these can kind of be indicators for things that could be leading to your child not doing the greatest. So be aware of these things. In our younger scholars, this could be changes in their eating and sleeping habits, having a sudden separation anxiety. So if you were to leave the house and they just get very anxious that they're away from you, an increase of behavioral difficulties, toileting regression. So if you have a potty trained younger scholar and they regress to having more accidents and things like that. And then also just them complaining of headaches and stomach aches could be indications that there's something bigger going on. And in our older scholars, you want to be on the lookout for a sustained change in their moods, so that goes beyond just normal adolescence mood swings, if it's more consistent for a long time. And also they could be maybe avoiding their friends, missing out on any like Zoom calls if they're doing that, or social distance hangouts outside, just avoiding that interaction, having a loss of interest in their normally fun activities that they enjoy doing. That could also be anything that they had previously been participating in virtually and they're just not interested in doing that anymore. Kind of this feeling of seeming persistently worried or anxious. They could even be looking towards substance abuse and use, and then also changes in their eating and sleeping habits as well. So if you're noticing that these are kind of those long-term changes, they could be really impacting your scholars' well-being. So in order to help combat these things and make sure that our scholars are doing their best, we can make sure that we're focusing on their physical and then also their emotional health. A number a thing to pay attention to help their physical health is eating healthy and drinking lots of water. So in order to help your scholar do this, you can build routines for snack and meal times. So trying to have a consistent breakfast, lunch, and dinner time each day, and then utilizing any breaks that they might have in school to have snacks that help fuel them as well, making sure that those are healthy and a good variety of snacks, add some fruits and veggies in there. They recommend that you wait 1 to 2 hours between eating to break up that meal and snack times, just so then your body has enough time to properly digest it, and then you get that feeling of hunger again. And that can really help eliminate that consistent just snacking throughout the day, if you do have those set times where your scholar is eating. You can also utilize the school lunch program. So we want to make sure that our scholars are getting a well-balanced diet, and the school lunch program is meant to do that. However, sometimes our scholars don't like what's being offered. So maybe take a look at what the menu is for that week. And if you do notice that there's something your scholar doesn't enjoy eating, try prepping ahead of time in your grocery list making and shopping making to make sure that you have a substitute in there for your scholar. You and your scholar can try some new recipes together. So there's a link from MMSD's website that has a whole bunch of pretty simple recipes that are totally doable if you and your scholar work together to make them. And you can really just try any sort of new interest that you have in cooking, and incorporating your scholar as much as possible and prepping ahead of time. And then also while you're cooking the recipe, engaging them more will get them more interested and invested in what they're eating. And they're also able to see kind of what's going in their body and understand those choices more as well. You want to encourage them to eat the rainbow, so to have kind of this variety of food. I'm not just eating the same thing all the time, making sure that we have lots of colors, and you can incorporate those colors using fruits and vegetables to make your plate more colorful. And then if you're noticing that you've just kind of have these odds and ends types of ingredients in your home and you want to make sure that you're using them up, or you just go to the grocery store and grab some random things, you can use this Super Cook website, and you can put in kind of the ingredients that you might have at home to come up with the new recipe that you could try using. And then that helps you just use what you already have in your home, and you don't have to keep going out and getting other foods if you're trying new recipes as well. Another part of our physical health that often gets overlooked is our sleep. So sleep is one of the most important things when making kind of changes to improve our physical health that we can really focus on. Having a healthy sleep routine helps promote growth, especially in our younger scholars. When we're sleeping, that's when our bodies are able to rest and then grow and be able to process any sort of activity that we had during the day and help repair any muscles and things like that. It also helps improve our memory. So when we're sleeping, that's when our brain is processing all the things that we learned and any events that occur during that day, and sorting them out into short-term and long-term memory. So the more sleep we get, the more time our brain has to work through those things. It can also help increase attention span, so our brain helping to sort through things while we're sleeping rather than it trying to work hard when we're awake. It will boost learning. So if you're noticing your scholar is struggling with school, this might be a good one to focus on to boost their learning. And then it also improves our immune system, which is important to be aware of as we go into flu season, and then also just the continued COVID-19. Our body is able to process and rebuild, like I said, so that helps just sort through everything and combat anything that might be in our body that shouldn't be. And then it also can help reduce stress. So as our brain works through things, there's less of that kind of fluff in our brain when we're awake that can help reduce that stress. So changing our sleep habits can be a pretty difficult thing, and it's something that I myself struggle with, but using these 2 tips can really help improve your sleeping habits. So it's recommended that you turn off any screens 1 hour before your bedtime. The blue light from screens kind of tricks our brain into thinking that it's still daytime and it should be staying awake longer. So really eliminating any of that blue light from the screens can help trigger in our brains that it's time to sleep, and then it'll be easier to fall asleep as well. And then also building a bedtime routine. So having kind of a consistent thing that you do each evening before you go to bed can also help trigger in the brain that it's sleep time, and then fall asleep faster. So whether that's you read a book or journal for a little bit, washing your face, brushing your teeth, just kind of doing the same thing each night in the same order before you hop into bed can help you sleep better as well. And then these are kind of the sleep amount guidelines. So at the infant level, your child should be getting 12 to 16 hours of sleep, and toddlers should be getting 11 to 14 hours. Preschoolers should be getting 10 to 13 hours. And those are including nap times. So that's in the whole 24-hour period, that's how much sleep they should be getting. Not just all at nighttime, but naps throughout the day count into that total. And then our grade school scholars should be getting 9 to 12 hours, and our teens should be getting 8 to 10 hours. And it's very normal in our teens to see that they're staying up later and sleeping in more. So that's very normal and typical and shouldn't be something that worries you about their sleep habits. Just making sure that they get the right amount is the important part, and which is also why MMSD decided to push back the start time for our middle and high schoolers to 8:30. So that helps kind of just naturally flow with their body and sleep rhythms better. Okay, you'll also want to encourage your scholar to stay active. So you should be aiming for them to get about an hour of physical and kind of intensive physical activity throughout the day. So it doesn't have to be an hour all at once, but you can break it up into little bits throughout the day. You want to try and get them to go outside if possible, especially now with weather. I'm just making sure that it's okay to go outside and utilizing it as much as possible. Just getting that fresh air can help boost our systems. And then you'll want to build in movement breaks into your everyday routine. So maybe you have a snack and movement break throughout the day. You can give them some options that they have for their movement breaks, like doing maybe a dancing video, a yoga video. You can have them help with a household chore. Just getting them up and moving it away from their screen. You could maybe have them care for a pet that you might have. And especially if you have a dog, you can utilize that to try and get them outside more. Maybe they take them for a quick walk or throw the ball with them outside. Just incorporating any way to get their bodies moving into their routine each day. And you can even try to get creative with movement in their schoolwork. So maybe if you have a younger scholar and they're doing some addition equations, you could maybe have them do some jumping jacks or star jumps, or maybe some push-ups, something that they like, an exercise circuit thing for the number that their equation equals out to. Maybe if they are reading for a really long time, after a certain number of pages, they get up and do something and then come back, just to continue to keep them moving throughout the day. Okay, and then one of the options that you could incorporate, it's definitely geared more towards younger scholars, but maybe you could convince your older scholar to utilize Go Noodle as well. They have a bunch of different types of movement videos out there. You can go directly to their website, or you can also find their videos on YouTube. So here's just a little clip of what that would look like.
Fabio Meatball Run! It's me, Mustafa!
Fabio. I'm on my way to visit my grandma's Filomena to bring her some juicy meatballs. Grandma's love the meatballs, just like me. Let's go. We gotta run so the meatballs don't get cold. Doc! Should have opened my mouth. Jump! Whoa! Almost dropped my meatballs. Dodge left! That's where the banana peel belongs. Jump! Hello, cucaracha! I almost crashed ya. Jump! Anyone know who that was? Dodge right! Ciao, Katerina! Doc! What's it?
Awesome. So again, that's just a little clip, different options that you can explore with your scholar and find one that they like. And then another option, maybe if your scholar needs some relaxing or a good stretch and they're younger, Cosmic Kids Yoga is a good choice. The video is a little more engaging and exciting than the stereotypical yoga video, so it's geared perfectly for our younger scholars. And then they also have a wide variety of different times on their videos, so you can really choose which one that fits best for the amount of time that you might have for a break or that you want your scholar to engage in. So here's a little clip of what that video would look like.
Super Yoga!
Sun pose. Rain pose.
Awesome. So those two are definitely kind of geared more towards the younger audience, but if you do have an older scholar, Just Dance is a good YouTube channel to get them moving and engaging with some dancing. And then if they like yoga, Yoga with Adriene is a good option for that. Okay. And then stress management. So we're in a stressful time. We also have experienced stress before COVID-19. We're experiencing it now, and we will continue to experience stress throughout our lives. So it's important to know how to manage it and kind of explore different options that work best for us, and then we can help our scholars practice what and figure out what works best for them as well. So one strategy is journaling. So this could be free form, where they just write out their thoughts, emotions, feelings, things that they went through that day, questions that they might be asking themselves, or if they're not into that free form style, they could try following a prompt. If you Google journaling prompts, there's a bunch of different ones out there. So if you know your scholar likes to write, this might be a good option for them, just to get it all out onto paper. And you can also explore different types of journaling where you keep it all, or maybe some people like to write things down and crumple it up and throw it away, kind of exploring different types of journaling that might work best for your scholar as well. You can work with your scholar to help them distinguish through things that they can and cannot control. So if they're especially stressed about lots of things that just really aren't in their control, we can help them distinguish between those things and help them target their energy more towards the things that they can control. So then they have kind of that power and aren't stressed about things that they really just can't change. And that just alleviates some worry and stress in that manner. You can also have them trying to practice gratitude. So just thinking about things that they're grateful for and appreciate that they have in their lives, just shifting from kind of a negative mindset to a positive and thinking about all the good things can help have huge impacts on our attitudes and our mindsets. And then accepting and acknowledging emotions. It's very normal to be stressed and to have stress throughout our lives. So just acknowledging that we have it, and then moving forward to work through it is important in kind of managing it. They could try listening to music. Maybe they have a favorite artist that makes them feel good and happy, or there's just kind of some soothing sounds out there that you could play that can just reset your mind. You can also have them practice some different breathing techniques. You could utilize MMSC's virtual calming room, having them stay active and get physical activity. So sometimes when we're stressed, we have all this built up kind of energy and tension in ourselves, and getting that physical activity out can really alleviate some of that. And then they can also practice mindfulness. So this is an example of what a breathing technique could be. There's a bunch of different ones out there that you can try out with your scholars. One of my favorites when I'm stressed is a bunny breath. So you breathe in through your nose quickly and then out through your mouth, like kind of like you're sniffing like a bunny. And this one is an ice cream breath. And although the scholars in this video are younger, these can really be used at any age, from 0 to 100 plus. So utilizing this with your older scholar can be just as impactful as well. And this video is actually from Glenn Stevens here in Madison. So it's pretty cool that they're doing this.
Good morning, Stevens Eagles.
Good morning, Miss Peach.
Get your bodies ready for the ice cream breath.
Vamos a alistarnos para respiración de helado.
Okay, sit up nice and tall.
Siéntate bien.
Making fists. Stack one on top of the other while we breathe in.
Haciendo puños, el pie de uno encima del otro, inhalando.
And then as the ice cream melts, exhale, bring it down. Good.
Exhale, imagínese comiendo todo el helado.
Let's do it a few times. So breathing in, stack your fists. And as you exhale, melt it down. One more time on your own. Breathing in. Nice job.
Awesome. So if you just kind of Google breathing techniques, there's a bunch of different ones out there that you can try. And then also MMSD has a virtual calming zone with a bunch of different options on here to alleviate stress and relax ourselves. So they have some visual relaxation options, some different video scenes, and maybe if your scholar enjoys something on in the background while they study and do their work, one of these might be an option if it's not too distracting for them. They have some coloring pages if they like to color. Here's some more breathing practices to explore. So there's some videos. And then also just these little graphics that you could watch and breathe through. I have some options for musics and sounds that they suggest you could try out. If you want some physical movement, some videos geared towards the older scholars. Here's those yoga with Adrian videos. And then they also have the ones for younger scholars. Kindness, just kind of getting that kindness in there can help boost our mood as well. Some videos about kindness. And maybe your scholar just needs a good laugh to alleviate their stress. So they have some humor and comedy options here too. And then if you're away from home and you want your scholar to engage on a mobile device, they have some apps here that they suggest as well. So that's a tool that you could utilize to help with stress management. And then mindfulness. So mindfulness is kind of this practice and idea of just being fully present and in the moment, having this kind of full awareness of our surroundings and our feelings, and what's happening in our bodies, and just around us. So practicing mindfulness and being more aware and living in the present can help improve our focus, and help us manage our stress. So if we're really aware of where we are right now and what we're doing, rather than kind of zoning out and looking around, that can help improve the focus. And if we practice these things intentionally, when we're not kind of intentionally practicing, our brain just naturally tends to follow those habits. So some practices that you can do to be more mindful and practice mindfulness are meditations. So there are guided meditations out there that you could follow, different videos. If you Google guided meditation, or you can just meditate by sitting in silence for a set amount of time and trying to clear out your thoughts. You could work on practicing grounding exercises. You can engage in Just Me's videos. He's a cool guy that focuses on different mindfulness aspects. And then you can also try some yoga. So focusing on your body and pushing it just a little bit more and stretching, and being aware of how your body feels in yoga practicing. So a grounding exercise, this one is called the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding technique. And this is just one of the different ones out there that you could try with your scholar.
This technique will take you through your 5 senses to help remind you of the present. This is a calming technique that can help you get through tough or stressful situations. Take a deep belly breath to begin. Number 5. Look around for 5 things that you can see and say them out loud. For example, you could say, I see a burger. I see a bird. I see a soccer ball. Number 4. Feel. Pay attention to your body and think of 4 things that you can feel and say them out loud. For example, you could say, I feel my feet warm in my sockets. I feel the hair on the back of my neck. Or I feel the pillow I'm sitting on. Number 3. Listen. Listen for 3 sounds. Say the things out loud. It could be the sound of running feet, an airplane flying by, or the sound of a dog barking. Number 2. Smell. Say 2 things you can smell. It's okay to move to another spot and sniff something. If you can't smell anything at the moment, or you can't move, then name 2 of your favorite smells. Number 1. Taste. Say 1 thing you can taste. It may be the toothpaste from brushing your teeth, or the flavor of your bubblegum. If you can't taste anything, then say your favorite thing to taste. Take another deep belly breath to end.
Awesome. And then there's Just Me videos. So this one is a body scan video. So show you a little clip of what this would look like. He does a bunch of different mindful moment type videos. So this one is just bringing more awareness to specific parts of our body. So this is
There's practice in here, so there's no problems and no pressure. Do the best that you can. So let's begin, all right? First thing, you're gonna bring your attention to your right foot. Now notice the bottom of your right foot, the top of your right foot. Move to the right ankle, the right lower leg, the right knee, the right thigh, and notice the right hip. And now you're going to bring your attention to your left foot. Noticing the bottom of the left foot, top of the left foot, the left ankle, the left lower leg, your left knee, your left thigh, now your left hip.
So Lenny just continues to go through the different parts of the body and shares that. So you could try out different ones of his videos as well. Okay. And then navigating grief. So our scholars may be experiencing feelings of loss and that grief right now as they're missing hanging out with their friends and family, and also life events like sports and dances. And we can help them cope with and navigate their feelings of grief. It's important to remember that everyone grieves differently, so it's important to pay attention to what your scholars' needs are during this time. Having open conversations with them to give them the chance to express their feelings and asking how you can support them and help them during these times to work through their feelings is important. And then we can help encourage our scholars to engage in things they enjoy and exploring how they can do these interests virtually. Try to have them continue to stick to routines to help them get that sense of normalcy back. And they can also practice mindfulness to help them be grounded in the present and work through any emotions that they might be feeling. Navigating depression. So as our scholars continue to stay at home, it's important that we continue to monitor changes in their behaviors that could be signs of depression or anxiety. It's important to remember that these are just warning signs. So displaying one or even a couple of these should not be misinterpreted as a definite indication of depression or anxiety. If you do suspect your scholar may be struggling, you should consult their pediatrician or primary care provider. So some behaviors to keep note of are irritability and or anger, a loss of interest in their usual fun activities, withdrawing from social activities, difficulties with concentration, changes in sleep habits, an appetite or weight changes, having comments about hopelessness, and then feeling fatigue or just a lack of motivation. If you notice that your scholar is showing more than one of those behaviors for longer than 2 weeks, you should speak to your scholar's pediatrician or primary care provider. You can help support your scholar while navigating depression by focusing on listening to your scholar and how they are feeling rather than dominating the conversation. You will want to also encourage them to continue to have open and honest conversation with you and their doctor. Continue to encourage them to have social connections and talk with their close friends and continue to engage in social activities that they enjoy. Sometimes they just need that conversation with their peers and not an adult. And then you can learn and practice coping skills to try out different ones together until they find some that work best for them. These can be similar to the stress management or mindfulness practices if they enjoy those. You can also have them prioritize their physical health, like eating healthy and getting enough sleep to fuel their body and help improve their emotional health. It's important to remember that even if your scholar has diagnosed depression, it does not mean that they are defined by that diagnosis. The diagnosis is just meant to help us understand our scholar more and figure out ways to help them move forward. And then navigating anxiety. Depression and anxiety are often diagnosed together and can have similar warning signs. Again, it's important to remember that a lot of our scholars are showing these behaviors because of the changes due to COVID-19. So you want to be monitoring for prolonged changes in their behaviors. And some warning signs of anxiety are irritability and or anger, having a sense of impending doom, danger or panic, breathing heavily or hyperventilating, feeling weak or tired, changes in their sleep habits, and prolonged increased heart rate, having muscle tension or soreness in their bodies, and then experiencing panic attacks. So if you notice your scholar is experiencing more than one of those behaviors for a prolonged period of time, so like 2 weeks or more, you should talk with their pediatrician or primary care provider to get their medical advice. You can help your scholar navigate their anxiety again by focusing on listening to them, on their thoughts and feelings. When a scholar is in a calmer mood and not an anxious state, you can work with them to examine what triggers their anxiety and how they can help to manage the anxiety when they experience one of those triggers, and then work through it more efficiently. You should have them work to prioritize their physical health, which can lead to overall improvements of their well-being. You'll want to continue to create and stick with routines to help foster a sense of predictability for them, especially if they are anxious about the unknown of the future. You can learn and practice relaxing skills that they can use when they get anxious. Helping your scholar build confidence could help them manage their anxiety by enforcing their ability to work through their fears in tough situations. And you can also work with your scholar to practice reframing. So this is the idea that you can look at different situations or feelings from different angles or perspectives. Okay. And then here's just a list of local free clinic, Our Lady of Hope, that's still operating due to COVID, and then some federally qualified health centers. So Access Community has a bunch of different clinics throughout Madison, and then there's also one with the Heartland Alliance Health. And then here's some local support services. So 211 Wisconsin can help direct you to different types of services that you might need. And then some helplines that you can call into or your scholar can call into. And then here's some national support services as well. Again, you can use or your scholar can use, they are free. And then if you do need additional supports beyond this workshop, there's this document with resources in Madison specifically related to the impacts of COVID-19. So they have information about housing and rent support, utilities, food security, financial resources. So that would be one to look at. And then MMSD also has a family and staff supports website with a bunch of different links on it, some general ones, and then under this being well, there's a bunch of different links to the different topics I discussed there that you could utilize as well. And then these are my drop-in office hours that I can provide some more individual help with. To ask, have conversations, and you can ask any questions that you might have. And then also feel free to email me at any time. And thank you so much for watching this workshop. And I hope to see you in a future workshop. Bye.